Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we talk about books of all types to help spread the joy of reading. Except for the month of Halloween, where we focus on Halloween themed books, and not just scary books, books that are specifically Halloween themed. So what we do is we read a different book each week, right Olive? Read a different Halloween book each week, and then we try to supplement with additional material. So this is our fourth week recap. This was actually, we only read one book this week, no supplemental stuff because we a little slow this week, and honestly, we've been watching some stuff too to really try to get in the Halloween mood. So there's some good Halloween movies like that we haven't seen before. You know, we just watched a bunch lately. We watched this Trick or Treat, which is like, I guess like a Halloween cult classic, but we never watched it. This is a graphic novel and everything, and this is like a series of I think it was 4 different Halloween tales that take place, Halloween horror tales that take place in this one town. And so it was pretty good, so if you're looking for a Halloween stuff to watch, today's Halloween, so if you're looking for a Halloween movie to watch tonight, that was pretty good. We also watched this, I think it was called Tales of Halloween, and these are a little older actually, but the same thing, this was more tales. It was a bunch of Halloween tales, just like little short story shows, and that was pretty good. And then we also watched this other one called The Witching Season, which was like, it's a season and it's broken up into episodes, which like 5 episodes, and each one's like a half an hour. So I think they were different lengths, but that's presented as a Halloween show. It's like the intro is all Halloween stuff, pumpkins, Halloween decorations and everything, but it's not actually really Halloween. I don't think there was really any Halloween connections. They were just like little horror tales, but it was good. They were pretty good. We enjoyed it. And then we just watched Terrifier 2. I don't know, have you guys seen this movie? Like, so apparently it's Terrifier. There was a Terrifier 1, but you don't need to watch that to watch Terrifier 2. We had seen like a headline a little while back, like in the news, that just said like, is Terrifier 2 the most disturbing movie ever, or something like that. And we're like, oh, what's that about? And we'll have to check that out. We never did. And so it's actually a Halloween movie, or it's centered around Halloween. And wow, was this movie like seriously disturbing. Holy cow. First of all, it was so creepy because the bads were it was like clowns. Like the main bad was like a clown, and so they don't speak, and so our characters interact with them and they're just like miming things, and you see like the character doesn't know what their intention is, and it's so creepy. There's some really creepy scenes in there, and then it's so violent. It's like really crazy, explicit, hardcore violence. Like if you're into that sort of thing, I don't think we've ever seen another movie like this. Actually, it was like so creepy and so graphically violent. It was like, well, I was worried I was going to have I don't really have nightmares anymore. I was worried I was going to have nightmares after that movie. But if you like that sort of thing, check it out. I don't know, today's Halloween, so we're trying to figure out what to watch tonight when the trick-or-treaters stop coming. I think we might try that new Pooh movie, the horror Winnie the Pooh movie that had blood and honey. So I don't know if anybody's seen that. Let us know if that one's worth watching. That looks pretty cool. So anyway, on to the books. We're here to talk about the book. So the book we read this week is Mr. Glowbones and Other Halloween Tales by Ronald Kelly. So this is like a number of these books that we've read for Halloween. They tend to be collections of short stories. And so we had fun with this. We picked this up because we had read a similar one by Ronald Kelly called The Halloween Store and Other Tales of All Hallows Eve. And so I actually think that this book so these books were both published in 2020, and I have had in my head that this one was first, but I think you would actually read this one first, and I'll tell you why in a second. It doesn't really matter, but so we had read this, I guess, last year, and we had fun with it. It was just a bunch of short, there's quite a few in here of short, good, fun Halloween tales, and Ronald Kelly writes pretty well. So Ronald Kelly, I guess, wrote a lot in the horror genre many, many years ago, and then sort of the bottom dropped out of that industry, and so he stopped writing for like 10 years, and then came back to it. And so some of the stories were original, some of them have been published in other things, and he includes an essay or two as well. And so This was the same thing. This was a bunch of, just good, very Halloween-y stories. It's interesting that he wrote so many stories specifically about Halloween, but these were mostly Halloween. And then he's got a couple of essays at the end that talk about. Well, let me get into the story. So with all these short stories, we always just give you, don't want to spoil anything. They're short, so we only give you a sentence or two to whet your appetite. So there was some good stories in here, and these were a little scarier and a little more disturbing than what I recall from the other book. So the first one was Mr. Glowbones, the title story, and that is about these kids and their dad are rummaging up in the attic when I think they moved back to the house from his childhood. They're rummaging up in the attic and they find an old cardboard box with his old Mr. Glowbones decoration in it, which is, just a jingling, well, I think it was like a cardboard or plastic jingling, globe 5-foot thing that you like hang on the door, and there's a history to it. So then there's the outhouse. That was pretty cool. That was these kids on Halloween. It's like a tradition. They go knock over outhouses. So they go to find the last outhouse to knock over, and they shouldn't do that. Then there's one called Billy's Mask. That was pretty interesting, short one where these friends see their classmate drawing this mask, and they're like, "Oh, is that your Halloween costume? Come trick or treating with us." And they all go trick-or-treating together, and they find out something interesting. So, then there was Pins and Needles. This is a pretty disturbing story. Pins and Needles. This is about a guy that spends his Halloweens like he's the guy that puts razor blades and needles and things and poison into children's candy before he gives it out, and then leaves town. But then there's some interesting developments. Then there was Black Harvest, where they're like this Halloween hoedown or something, and the kid, whoever shucks the right corn, it gets a corn, when they're shucking the corn, whoever gets one that's like red, they win, and they get to choose a girl of their choice to kiss them, and so he chooses a girl he's never seen before. And so next one is Pelengrad's Pit, and this is about a boy that likes to go exploring in the woods, and he goes into this guy's yard and finds this mysterious pit, like a burn pit. And when he goes down in the pit, interesting things happen. And this pit belongs to a old German whose family, well, let's just say guy's history dates back to the 1940s. So there's Mr. Mac and the Monster Mobile. So this is, I'll get back to that again. This is connected to the other book. So this is about these kids that go to this old guy that has a lot of Halloween decorated, like old movie props and things in his trailer. So these two kids go to check that out. And I'll leave it at that. Then there's this one called The Halloween Train, and I didn't really get this one. This was like a one-page story about some kid that's dreaming about a Halloween train. I didn't really understand it. And then he had a couple essays, which is what he did in the other one: The Candy and the Ditch Gang, Halloween's Past and Present, Monsters in a Box. And these are just essays. They're like nostalgic essays of his, back his Halloweens as he was a kid. Halloween's Past and Present was reminiscent. Monsters in a Box was like about the old monster models that he used to make, and so just some essays, little Halloween nostalgia, which are cool if you're older like me. So we had a lot. We had a lot of fun with this. Some of these stories were little scary, a little disturbing, and they were all good fun. All written well. And so it's just like the other one. So we like Ronald. We're enjoying Ronald Kelly. These are the only two books of his that we've read, but I think we're going to explore more stuff of his. He did one like this for Christmas, too, called Season's Creepings. So we're probably going to check that out. I don't know, maybe this year. So, yeah. So we recommend this if you're looking for some good, fun Halloween stories. So, Mr. Glowbones. Oh, and so the connection. So Mr. Glowbones, I think you would read this one first, because Mr. Glowbones appears in the title story of that other book I showed you, The Halloween Store, where these kids go to the store and they see Mr. Glowbones for sale in the store. But this is the main story about Mr. Glowbones. So that story was written first. even though these two books both came out in 2020. Like I said, most of the stories were previously published. And then this other one, that Mr. Mac, what was that one called? Mr. Mac and the Monster Mobile. I think this is the first story, because then in this one there's a story called Mr. Mac is Back in Town. So it's also cool that the two books are, a couple of the stories are connected, and you see some of the same things again. So yeah, I would definitely recommend these books. They're fun for Halloween. So that, like I said, that was all we read. We watched all that stuff, so that was the only Halloween book we read this week. We are still working on The Manse by Lisa Cantrell, which I forgot to bring in here, but we are going, even though October is basically over, we're midway through that, so we're going to finish that up, and we'll talk about it, because we're enjoying that one so far. So anyway, that's it for today. Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you've been reading some good Halloween stuff, right, Olive? We hope everybody's been reading some good Halloween stuff. We hope everybody's having a great Halloween season. Watch something good tonight if you have some time, a nice Halloween movie. And, as always, thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments, you've read these books, let us know. Or if you don't have anything substantive you want to leave, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji, or a pumpkin, or a ghost, or a witch, right? You love all of those. She always likes to see those. So, as always, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.